What does manhood mean to you?
Manhood means about being that authentic person and for my kids, particularly my son. Raising a young man in this world, and we talked about not many examples of black men in the world, and I need to be that for him. And so that looks like being vulnerable, being loving, being caring, thinking about being a human, and all those things that make people special. I think that make me special. Let me say that in this world.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men because, frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I'm super excited about this brother. Let's see, he is a multifaceted brother, a leader who has been in multiple sectors of our society, from corporate to nonprofit to government sectors, all in leadership roles. He's been a philanthropist, a leader in his own right. And as he likes to start off all of his conversations about himself, he was born and raised in West Philadelphia. As they say, the West Side is the best side. Please welcome Mr. Kevin Dow. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, it's nice to be with you, Val. Thank you for having me. I'm really, really honored to be able to do this with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm very honored that you are here. And I'm really grateful that you're here, Kevin, because
Mhm.
your presence here helps to put another wedge in the window or door, if you will, of the very myopic view of Black men in this world, really,
Mhm.
not just even in the United States. We know from what we see in the media that there are about three, maybe four stereotypes. Most of them are negative about Black men. Yet we also know that there are as many Black men, positive Black men walking the planet as there are Black men walking the planet.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yet we only see this small portion. And
Mhm.
so ultimately, we want to have a young king who may or may not have positive Black male role models to come to this repository, see the
Mhm.
same questions, six questions answered by
Mhm.
amazing, positive, and successful Black men,
Mhm.
hundreds now, and hopefully find guidance there. And then
Mhm.
for the rest of us who are neither male or even Black, for us to be able to come to this repository, see the same six questions, hear these different answers, and hopefully have our minds expanded. And so I'm so grateful that you're with us today. And I want to get started with the first question, which is,
Mhm.
what does manhood mean to you?
Yeah, I thought about this and I looked at some of the other videos and I was trying to, really be authentic in that. And then that's what I said. Being a man to me is about being authentic. It's about having strength and courage to be authentic when it is not easy. It's about honest and candid. So much of my work is about who I am, and it's about doing work in the community. It's about shepherding resources, and I find that it is always in my best interest and in the interest of who I am dealing with if I bring Kevin Dow, if I bring my authenticity to that relationship, to that one conversation, or to the multiple conversations. And so that resonates a lot with me because it transcends not only work, but personal life, spiritual life, love life, any number of areas of the kind of human being that I want to be. Manhood means about being that authentic person and for my kids, particularly my son. Raising a young man in this world, and we talked about not many examples of black men in the world, and I need to be that for him. And so that looks like being vulnerable, being loving, being caring, thinking about being a human, and all those things that make people special. I think that make me special. Let me say that in this world.
Mm, that's really great. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Kevin. So, Kevin, who and or what is important to you?
Yeah, well, who is my family? Those that are, I think, are closest to me, those that are my family, my friends, my relationships, all my children are all very, very important to me. They are the ones that are the bedrock for my life. They help me be who I am, and they give me the path to want to be successful, to want to be authentic, to be a good man. Um, you know, I think what is important is also about being honest and candid, showing up when others might not be able to show up, recognizing, oftentimes, again, associated with work a little bit, but translates life. We have to understand that we hold power, and when we hold power, we need to exercise it. And as Black men, we don't necessarily recognize when we hold that power. I'm privileged in the sense of what where I am in the world and who I am in the world and what I can do in the world. And so, with that privilege comes power. With that power comes responsibility, and I take that very, very seriously. So, what I am that reflects of what is important to me. So, I think also being caring is important, understanding that relationships and friendships and family members, there's the level of unconditional love that you have for one another, and that unconditional love can be difficult at times, but you have to strive to move through those difficult periods so that those who are around you, who depend on you, who are looking towards you for that support, for that guidance, for that effort to be a better person, and they're looking for that in you, for them, you deliver quite often. And I hope that makes sense to folks. It is something that is powerful for me when I thought about these questions.
That is great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Kevin, how do you want us to see you?
Yeah, I don't know. I want you to see my humor. I want you to see, I want you to see the authenticity. I'm gonna talk about that all the, I think I'm this person who's authentic, born and raised in West Philadelphia. So you got the boy who grew up at 58th and Thompson, and you got the kid who was educated at publicly school educated, went to Morehouse College, so I want you to see that. I want you to see who he is, who Kevin Dow is in that regard. I want you to see that I'm caring. I have a joy for life. I have an authenticity that allows me to really engage people in a way in which they can feel me. And I think that's how I want people to see me. I want them to see me as caring. I want them to see me as smart. All of those kind of things that I think I embody naturally. I want folks to see that.
That's great. That's great. Awesome. Thank you. So, Kevin, question number 4 is what is your epic dream?
I should have asked you about this earlier because I was like, what do you mean by epic? I'm like, and you spelled it with a K, and I'm like, that's that Kappa way. Um, and I feel like it's achievement in every field of human endeavor, but I'm trying to figure out, is that like, what is epic for you? Help me, Val, in that regard, and I'm gonna answer this question.
Sure. So I think big is not big enough because so when big is too small, epic is what comes in. What is your biggest epic, the most epic dream? And I'll tell you, I spell it EPIK because
Hmm.
that's my hashtag, epic dream. And
I
so
didn't catch that.
part
Okay.
of the brand. That's part of the brand. But really, what is your unique and big dream that's in your heart that it may feel so big or too big for you, but there's something inside of you that like if you could do that thing,
Yeah,
that
that's
yeah.
interesting. I had a conversation with somebody, a good friend of mine, um, and we were talking. He was, and I think it relates. One of the things we talked about was the generational dynamics that exist that in families and in communities and in society, but in Black communities in particular, because that's what I relate to. So as Black community, and how we want to ensure that and maybe this is an age thing too, that we ensure that the next generation is is has moved beyond where we are, right? So, we talk about, my parents talked about, we want to make sure the next generation makes it and has a better station in life and has an easier path. And it really doesn't come to fruition until you have children and then you begin to get a little older, and you see your parents leave this world, in a physical sense, and you begin to realize that you have a responsibility to ensure your children's and the next generation, and maybe even the generation after that. And so the epic is to remove, you know, the the barriers that prevent us from moving forward. So we talk about intergenerational poverty as an example. I work in that space a lot. How can I remove some of the barriers that create one generation from moving out of poverty so that the next generation does not have that barrier in front of them, right? And so the epic dream for me is to do my for my family, but my work is my vocation is my family. And so often talk about we do good in the hood. That's my tagline. Do good, and I like to say hoods because I get to do that in hoods, the work that I do, and it defines me in a sense of that epic dream is to remove those generational barriers that exist from one family structure to the next for the next, so that when my kids or when and whomever else's kids are going on in their lives, they have the ability to move faster, to move easier, to move better, to move more simplistically so that they can achieve what they define as success. And that whatever that barrier is that's my role. That's my epic dream. That's what I got right now, Val. I'm hoping that is making sense to you and to other people. But it's epic because it's generational. And if you think about maybe your own family, when I think about my own family, let me keep it with me. It is about looking at the how my grandparents, came over in one way or the other on a boat, or my foreparents one way or the other on a boat. Some came in by choice, some came by by slavery, and how they each generation did something that helped move the next generation. That's my epic dream.
That is amazing. That's really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much
Mhm,
for sharing
mhm,
that.
mhm.
So you've been answering question 5 all along implicitly, but I'm going to ask you explicitly, Mr. Mr. Kevin Dow, who are you?
I thought about there was this movie and I couldn't remember, and I prepared for this right before, but it was a um movie where a woman was the nanny for a white family, a black woman for a white family, and she was being dismissed. I think this was the Oprah Winfrey movie. I can't think of the name right now. Anyway, she said to this child, I want you to remember that um, I want you to remember to know that you are smart. I want people to know, and she went on about, I am smart, I am kind, I am strong, right? And that's what I want people to know, that I can be trusted. I am reliable. Uh, I am funny. I am strong, patient, and present. I am a father, I am a brother, and I am a friend. And I am one that has empathy and can be empathetic. And I am one that is authentic in all that I do.
That is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So here we are already at question six, which is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about that and I was like, can I come up with something? And, when you get we got, obviously we had the opportunity to prepare. I did more preparation on others. I didn't do anything on that one. And and the reason I say that because it's it's like I can come up with a million things and I don't know what one to pick, right? And what question to ask. So I really don't know. You did a wonderful job in preparing me. I think I um if I were to think about it right here in a moment a little bit more, maybe what is the kind of thread that I see in my life from childhood to adolescence to adulthood to, maybe further along in adulthood, and that thread that I see there is the ability with that authenticism, being authentic, but is that ability to create relationships over those times. I look back at my best friend and I say, to him, we've known each other since our first week of high school. Right. And I've been out of high school quite some time. And but he's still my best friend to today, excuse me. And I think about some of my older friends. I have friends that I went to elementary school. And I was born and raised in West Philly, so I went to Lamberton. I went to Central High School, the best damn high school in the whole wide world, 246. So anybody who knows knows. So and I think as I was thinking about that question now and earlier a little bit, I was thinking about what's the one thread that has made me who I am. And I think that has been, and I wasn't conscious of it when I was a kid, surely enough. And I maybe became a little bit more conscious when I became a professional. And I looked back and I reflected back and I saw that there were relationships that existed through my life all the way through that made me who I am today.
That is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Kevin. And I'm so grateful for your presence in this world. I'm so grateful for how you think. I'm grateful for your leadership. What I didn't say is the number of years, I think couple of decades now that I've known you, which is kind of weird in some respects. But and having watched you in the city and seeing your various roles, particularly in philanthropy and leadership in general, where we don't often see brothers and who are leading with integrity and with respect, and who
Mhm.
have respect. And so I'm really so just honored and grateful that you are here. I just honor you, my king. I do pray
You're
that
my
your
queen.
epic, thank you, and I pray that your epic dream absolutely comes true sooner
Mhm.
rather than later for so many more of us, not
Mhm.
just our particular families, right? But that we are
Mhm.
laying foundations for others to seize on their birthrights, if you will. And so I'm so grateful for you, and just thank you so much for joining us today, Kevin.
Well, thank you. And I'm honored, as I said at the beginning, and I too recognize that we've had a long relationship. It's like, and that's that thread, right? That thread through our lives, and it's and so I value that, and it's important for me, and so I appreciate you saying that. I acknowledge that, and I too would share that as a person, as a human, and so thank you very much. And I really appreciate this opportunity to share a little bit about who I am.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And stay right there because I want to thank the audience for joining us today. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And if there's a positive and successful brother in your life who you want to see highlighted in this forum, please click the link below or in my bio, fill out the nomination form, and we'll take it from there. I often say that I don't really care what a brother does for a living. He could be a multifaceted leader like Kevin Dow or not. What is really important is, in addition to these multifaceted leaders, these superstars, are the brothers who are holding it together, who are, by the content of their character, leading positive lives. I have two caveats. As long as what they do for a living is legal, and it's not hurting anybody. Those two things. Other than that, I don't really care. I just really care that the content of their character is really impacting positively the people around them, starting with the nuclear family and radiating out to the rest of the community. Those are the brothers we also want to have in this repository. So thanks again for joining us. Please stay tuned next week for yet another amazing king. And please remember to spread love and have a great day. Thank you so much. And Kevin, thank you. That was really
Thank
wonderful.
you. Thank you.